I got a confession to make. I almost never type anything anymore. Transcription has gotten so darn fast. I can dictate things almost faster than I can speak them, if that even makes sense. And the best part is this is all happening locally on my Mac. It's not sending any data to anybody's cloud. Unless I want it to, there's cloud models available to me. So maybe after the dictation is complete, I want to format my thoughts because, let's be honest, I tend to ramble a little bit. So I'm going to make a grocery list. I'm just going to press a different combination of keys first. In this case, Shift Option Spacebar. Grocery list, bread, eggs, and butter. Now it's going to transcribe what I just said, but it's also going to send that information to the cloud. And as you can see here, it put it into a list for me. Now, this is all being done through the help of one app called Hyprcore. Here's their Mac app right here. And by the way, we should start there. Hyprcore is a Mac app. It's running locally on my machine, and it's using open source models for the local transcription. Now, more importantly, Hyprcore is available as an AppSumo lifetime deal as part of their The Deal is Right promo that's running from July 20th through July 24th. You'll be able to get the best deal ever on Hyprcore during that time. So check it out with my link in the description. Now, AppSumo reached out to me and asked if I'd like to make this video. So thanks to them for sponsoring this video. And I'm going to show you everything Hyprcore can do here so you can find out if it can replace whatever expensive transcription subscription you might already have. So you've already seen that you can dictate anything anywhere on your Mac. You just press Option Spacebar. That's the default key command, but you could map that to anywhere you want. The settings here are pretty diverse. There's a lot of different options, so you can customize things to your needs, like the transcription shortcut that I just mentioned is right here. If I wanted to map that to something else, let's say, oh, maybe just the function key, I can press function here, and now I don't have to do the finger trickery in order to get the transcribe shortcut to work. The other one I mentioned is the post-processing hotkey that's going to run your transcription through another prompt that could be processed locally on your machine or sent up to a cloud. How you decide what the post-processing prompt actually is and where that information is being sent, if it's going up to the cloud or if it's staying locally on your machine, is also inside of the settings here. Let's start with the location. So we'll go over to models, and you can see we've got two tabs at the top here. I like how they did this, so I can clearly understand what model I'm choosing for what bit of information, because this is a little confusing. There's a lot going on. For speech to text, right now I have it set to local, and it is currently using, for dictation, we're under meetings here, it is currently using Parakeet version 3, which is the default model. It takes about a ½ gig of storage, so you're gonna need a little bit of on-device storage for this, but other than that, you don't really feel anything. It's just lightning fast with the transcriptions. Now, if you've got an older machine and you don't want to run speech to text locally, that's totally fine. There's two options for you. You can do the Hyprcore Cloud, which is going to use cloud credits that are included with your purchase from AppSumo, or you can BYOK, bring your own key, and use any of these providers here. I think the integration for BYOK could be spruced up a little bit, but you can see they support OpenAI, so that'll cover most people out there. Now, truth be told, most devices purchased in the last few years can do speech to text really well. Even like smartphones can handle it without problem. So definitely try the local models first. And if it's just too slow or maybe wears out your battery too fast, I totally understand, then switch to a cloud model. So those are the models available to us for speech to text. But what happens after it's already transcribed and you want it to clean things up? That's the other tab over here called Intelligence. We've got the same options down below. We've got Hyprcore Cloud, Local, and BYOK. By the way, the BYOK provider option list is even more sparse than the speech to text list. So hopefully they improve this and support all of the major providers. I'd love to see that. Just as before, we've got tabs for meetings as well as dictation. So you can set up different models depending on the application that you're running. I'm talking primarily about dictation to start this video. So let's live in this tab, and I'm going to talk about the local providers. So you can see I've got Gemma 4, E4B running right now. That's the largest one they offer inside of their GUI here. And it runs fine on my Mac Studio, but it's just a little bit slow. A lot of the local models, if you're running them on a Mac, are gonna run really slow. And for some applications, that's fine. But for something like Dictation, I really want a speedy output. So I tend to go with the Hyprcore cloud options, which are decent, a little bit older models here, which make them affordable, but they sometimes make mistakes because of that. So hopefully they improve this to support the more economical later version models. So I'm going to be using Gemini 2.5 Flash to demonstrate the intelligence features for you. First of all, let's just dictate something straight up that doesn't have any intelligence at all, and then I'll say the same thing and apply Gemini to it. So for this, I'm going to head over to the Vault, which is a feature that they've got baked in here, which is like a little wiki where you can store all of your dictations, your meetings, everything can live here inside of this Vault. So I'm going to make a new document. I'll just call this demo and we'll open this up. You can see it's a nice little markdown editor here. It's got native lexical built in. So if you want to just write in this thing, you definitely could do that. But of course, we've got Dictation. So let's go ahead and try that. John, so I really want to talk to you about the meeting on Wednesday. So let's get together as soon as we can. All right, so straight up Dictation did a pretty good job there. I said, and kind of sounded like a buffoon as much as I possibly could, but there's still some grammatical errors here. So there's no comma and it says Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's go ahead and just say this similar thing again, but this time I'm going to turn intelligence on. It does slow down the transcription time considerably, but now we get all of the benefits of intelligence being added in. So John, I really want to talk to you about the meeting on Wednesday. So let's get together as soon as we can. So there you go. It's black and white, very obvious. The version with intelligence is formatted properly. It uses correct grammar. I could easily just copy and paste this right into an email. In fact, I could have done the transcription in an email application. That would have been just fine, or send it on Slack, something like that. It's ready to go. Versus the dictation only is great. I mean, it saves me a ton of time over typing, but I still need to go back and format it so that it's usable for third-party eyes to see without making me look like I was using dictation and not really caring about communication with them. I actually really like having two separate key commands, one with intelligence and one without, because honestly, if I'm prompting my AI, I'll just do the straight up dictation. It goes way faster and AI can make sense of it. But if I'm going to write inside of an email or a messages app, then I definitely want it formatted correctly for the right context. Now, before I move on from the Vault, just a couple things to mention. First of all, there's an MCP for the Vault, which means you can connect it up to your AI agent. If you have a Hermes agent or an OpenClaw agent, you're good to go. Heck, you could even use it with your Claude desktop installation. That would work just fine. Now, if you're just still easing into this whole AI thing and you don't have your own AI assistant yet, don't worry, you can use Hyper down here, which is basically the same thing. It's a way to chat with your Vault and find out everything that you've stored in it, summarize a meeting, ask what drafts you have to follow up with, anything like that that's stored inside the Vault, you can get through either Hyper or connecting up your MCP. The other thing I want to mention is there's a community aspect to this as well. You can have your team invited to this and share folders with them online. So I can make my inbox here shared. I just hit the triple dots and then choose share with team. I can choose specific people to share it with. I can choose specific people who can edit that folder. No problem. By the way, it's really easy to add additional folders. Hit the plus button here. Here's my demo folder. And of course, you saw me create a new note before, just hitting the plus button, and that adds a new note. You can, of course, move notes between folders, but the UI is a little bit buggy. So if I move this test note up to demo here, it looks like it didn't work, but it actually did. If I close the Vault and open it up again, well, there we go. And I click into the folder and it shows up in both, but here I can open it. And if I go down here, it just disappears. So the move happens correctly. The GUI doesn't rewrite itself. So they need to fix that, and a bug fix coming out soon, hopefully. Now, inside of the vault, the very last item, it says new recording. And this is really handy. What it's going to do is start a new meeting, but it's a meeting just for you. So if you want to make a recording of something you're trying to think through, or even do a screen recording that you want to turn that into some sort of document, well, it's built right in here. You don't have to go to any third-party applications. This tool is really going to do all of your dictation stuff that you need. So I'm going to do audio only right now because I'm already recording my screen and I don't want any conflict with the video here. And I'll just call this my meeting. And I can save this into the inbox. That's fine. I can choose any box I'd like. And then I'll hit start recording. And it's going to show me the same window I'd see when I was doing a Zoom recording or a Google meetup or something like that. And right now I can see the live transcription. It's listening. And shortly it's going to start to show bullet points. There we go. Here's our first one. Now I could toggle over to the notes. So as the meeting is going on, I could be taking notes here, anything I want. Or if someone just said something really important, like I'm looking at the transcript start to become longer and longer, and that was a really good point, I want to save that, I press Shift Command N, and it gives me that note right inside of the scratch pad. Now I can close this little notification that my mic's too low, but other than that, once my meeting is done, I can just hit end recording. It's going to transcribe this automatically. You can see the notification down here. I'll hit open, and now shortly after the transcript is all done being transcribed, I've got the recording of the actual call right here. It will actually turn this into an entire document as it finishes the processing. There we go. That was all real time. I didn't edit anything there at all. So now I've got a full list of the meeting, everything that was covered, the chapters, and any notes that were saved. Now, a quick little tip, if you're trying to do this, let's say you get this application and it's not working for you, just make sure you have some models set for meetings, because that's entirely different. Under settings, then under models, remember this little tab at the top here. So meetings right now, I'm doing that locally using Canary 1B v2. And then for intelligence, I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash. Now, regarding the meetings, I did mention you can have it work with your calendar. So under integrations calendar, you can have it start automatically when you click on a video link. That's cool. You can also connect up your Google Calendar, your Microsoft Calendar, or your Apple Calendar through EventKit. So very nice, covers all of the major players there. I mentioned MCP before. The directions for connecting that up are just right here. If you're a power user, you're gonna love the advanced settings under System Advanced. So a ton of options here to customize how the app actually appears. Like, for example, I like to start it hidden on launch, but I don't want it to show a tray icon. I just want it to live in the ether where I know it is, but I don't need it clogging up my system tray. Then I can also have the overlay position where I want it. I can hide it from screen sharing so it's not showing up when I'm recording videos for people. And this is a nice feature if you got an older machine, it can automatically unload the model. So after 15 minutes of not doing dictation, you can unload it to free up some system resources. There's options here related to how the information goes onto your clipboard, whether it's automatically pasted. You can add in custom words that it sometimes gets wrong so that it corrects them. Add in a history. So let's say I wanted to store the last 100 items, but only the last 2 weeks worth. So I'm just going to have a maximum amount of storage of 100 items, but delete anything that's more than 2 weeks old. And of course, power users love key commands. I focused on the key commands and the customization option for dictation earlier in this video. Those are all found here under product dictation, but they're available for meetings as well. So if you want to be able to drop into a meeting very, very quickly, you can customize that so that it's easy for you to remember. So we can do a new meeting or a new note like you just saw me do. So those are your options here inside of the settings. Overall, very, very full featured. The last thing I'm going to show you is the action templates down here. This is kind of like turning Hyper into its own kind of smart assistant. I don't know. It's not that full featured quite yet. They've got a few different commands. You can't make your own, but we've got write an email, reply in the moment, make a checklist, rewrite a selection, or write code. And you can see here the examples, right? So I could say write an email and I could say, Hyper, write an email inviting the team to Friday drinks at 6. And there you go. That's the type of output you get. Okay, so here's my email. Let's try this out. The only thing I need to do is use the intelligence version of dictation. So for me, that's still Shift Option Spacebar. And then I need to start my prompt by saying Hyper. So here we go. Hyper, write an email to the team. Let them know that we crushed our numbers for last quarter and the boss is giving us a pizza party. All right, let's see how this does. Subject, we crushed it last quarter plus pizza party. Team, great news. We absolutely crushed our numbers last quarter. As a thank you, boss name is treating us to a pizza party. Dates and details to follow soon. Fantastic work, everyone. All right, that's pretty cool. I don't mind that. I guess it would be even better if it was contextually aware of what's going on the screen. So it could say, follow the entire thread and it can pull people's names in. That would be amazing, but maybe for V2 of the product. So there you go. That is Hyprcore. Overall, I'm very impressed with this tool. I love having the option for the local transcriptions, but being able to send things up to the cloud very easily if I need a little bit more processing power. I also appreciate the collaborative features such as shared folders, and of course, the ability to record meetings is absolutely killer. I don't have to pay for a separate tool for that. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8.2 out of 10. It offers a ton and is an absolute great deal. If it fits with how you work and you want to pick up a code, the timing is right because AppSumo just launched this as part of the Deal is Right on AppSumo, which runs from the 20th of this month, July 20th through July 24th. That's where you'll get the absolute best deal for this tool and a whole lot of others. I'll be covering more from this sale, so stay tuned here all week for new AppSumo videos. Now go ahead and check my link in the description if you want to support my channel. Drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions, and otherwise I'll see you in the next review.